Hello and welcome to today's Power Rankings for Overwatch League. We are here, back, but today is the beginning of something else that's exciting. We've always done Power Rankings as a video format, but today we're expanding Power Rankings to not only be a video, as it's been for, a year now. We're also branching into podcasts, which is something we've done for a little bit. So everybody watching on the YouTube channel, we do have a podcast. We do have a link down below to some of the main things. I believe Spotify, Google Podcasts, and some other things are down there. We're still waiting on approval for Apple Podcasts, but hopefully we'll get there at some point. So, a little bit different for our Power Rankings as well. I'm recording this the day it goes up instead of the night of the last games. Also, I do want to mention this week I didn't watch that many games. I did some highlights. I watched Seoul Dynasty and Los Angeles Gladiators, but that's about it. So yeah, that's the thing. So we're going to get right into it. And also we're talking about both the standings from the stage so far and from stage 1 and 2 combined. And again, the Power Rankings, since this is the first time we're branching to another stage this season, the Power Rankings go based on combined from stage 1 and 2 without the stage 1 playoffs. The stage 1 playoffs don't matter. New York Excelsior losing to Seoul Dynasty and the Gladiators, the Titans beating the Shock, all that doesn't matter. What matters is stage 1 regular season, stage 2 regular season. So let's get right into it. The first team we have at number 20, we have a new team at number 20, the Guangzhou Charge. They're down 4 spots from their previous spot last stage. They are 0-2 in the stage, and overall on the season, the Charge are 3-6. So take a look at what the Charge did this week. The Guangzhou Charge, did they play 2 games, right? Guangzhou Charge took on the Paris Eternal where they lost 4-0. We did see a lot of new stuff, the new meta that sort of developed. Also Baptiste in the Paris map. So, Paris Eternal against Guangzhou Charge. Guangzhou lost all 4 maps: Oasis, Paris, Eichenwald, and Junkertown. Right, you're showing me stage 2. Or week 2. Is that all Guangzhou played? I thought they played 2. They did. They lost to San Francisco Shock 4-0 as well. Dropping Busan, Temple of Anubis, Eichenwald, and Junkertown. So, that is how the Guangzhou Charge played. Now, the next team we have to look at is the Florida Mayhem. Again, Florida didn't do well. Florida has struggled basically since they've been in the Overwatch League. And that really is showing here. Again, a lot of these teams, the thing that's interesting about this week is we had 2 teams that didn't play. Dallas and Houston didn't play. Then we had a bunch of teams that went 0-2. A couple teams went 0-1. We had some 1-1s. We had 2-0. So it's really, really interesting. Really weird to sort of work in the Power Rankings for this week. But we did it, and it was really fun to get. And now we're here. We're also going to get touch on the meta a little bit in the bit that comes up between Seoul and Los Angeles, because that's the one that I watched. Alright, who are we talking about? Florida? Florida's 0-2 in this stage. And overall, they are 1-8 on the season. So, to look at what Florida did this week. Florida took on the London Spitfire where they lost 2-1. London taking Lijiang Tower. Florida taking Hanamura. There was a tie on Eichenwald. And then London won on Watchpoint Gibraltar. The other matchup that we've seen. This is really annoying to do today because it keeps going. Every time I go back, it keeps going to week 2. So I have to click week 1 every single time. The second match that they played, they lost to Philadelphia. Florida took Oasis and then dropped Temple of Anubis Kings Row, and Junkertown. All right. Next team. Okay, the other weird thing is, since I'm using my iPad to record the podcast, I need to do a lot more with my computer. The next team we have is the Washington Justice. They are in 18th in our rankings this week. Washington Justice is 0-2 in the stage, and I believe they're 1-8. Yes, they're 1-8 in the league. The only team without a win this season is the Los Angeles Valiant. Very surprising to see them not without a win this far in. But Washington Justice, in their 2 games this week, took on first the Toronto Defiant. Against Toronto, they lost 3-1, losing Oasis, Hanamura, and Blizzard World before taking Junkertown. The other matchup that Washington played this week was against the Chengdu Hunters. They won on... Chengdu won on Oasis. Washington was able to take Temple of Anubis and then drop Kings Row and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Alright, so the next team that we're looking at is the Los Angeles Valiant. They're up 4 spots. Now, the reason they're up 4 spots, they didn't do good this week either, but the teams below them lost more than 1 game. So that's why I moved them up a little bit. I'm not saying the Valiant did any better, but the teams around them did worse. So the Los Angeles Valiant are 0-1, and they are 0-8. They've only played 8 games, right? Yeah, they're 0-8 on the season. Very, very weird to see the Valiant struggling. They're one of the teams that honestly a lot of people had high expectations for coming into the league. Things did not work out well for them. The Valiant took on San Francisco this week and lost 4-0, dropping Busan, Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. That's all the Valiant did this week. The next team that we have to take a look at is Hangzhou Spark. They're down 2 spots. Now, they are 0-1 as well, which means that they should be... Actually, I don't know how many wins they have, so I can't guess that. They're 3-5. Hangzhou is 3-5. They only played 1 game this week, and that was against Vancouver Titans, where they got 4-0'd. They dropped Oasis, Hanamura, Kings Row, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Not a good week for Hangzhou either. Alright, the next team in our rankings here is the Houston Outlaws. They didn't play, so I kind of kept them where they are. I moved teams below them. I moved 1 below them, but, you know, I wasn't really going to move a team that didn't play, considering the rankings do accumulate over Stage 1, Stage 2. I feel like Houston's performance in Stage... where they performed in Stage 1 should be where they stay, because that's the most recent games they played. So Houston we have 15th. Obviously, Houston doesn't have a win or a loss so far in the stage, and Houston had the record overall is 3-4. All right, the next team that we have is the Atlanta Reign. Atlanta Reign's down 2 spots from where they were. Atlanta is 0-2 in the stage. The reason that I did put them above Los Angeles and Hangzhou, that was because of where they were previously. They dropped less with these losses than some of these other teams would. So, Atlanta being 0-2. They played a close game against the Boston Uprising, going to a map 5. Atlanta took Liaison Tower and Temple of Anubis before dropping Eichenwald, Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Busan. Atlanta's other match this week was against the Atlanta Spitfire, where they lost 4-0. It's really hard for a lot of these teams when you're on stage and you're so close to getting a win, and you lose it barely by losing 3 maps in a row. It's very hard for a lot of these teams to come back on stage and perform well a couple days later. So we just really hear from Atlanta. Again, Atlanta's a very good team, but Atlanta lost Oasis, Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Atlanta was one of the teams that I ranked really, really high a couple weeks ago, and they've just been on the downfall since then. Another team that I ranked high, and we're seeing drop, is the Shanghai Dragons. Now, I will admit I did put them a little bit too high based on their performance of winning 2 games. I had them like 7th. I will admit that was a little bit of over placement. Shanghai's definitely taken a step back since some of those wins, but they can definitely be a contender a little bit, but they're not really doing anything super amazing. So Shanghai down 6 spots to 13. Shanghai is 0-2 in this stage. And overall, I believe they're 2-6. They're 3-6. They won 3 games? Yeah. They beat Boston, London, and Chengdu. Okay. They played 9 games. I was right about the losses. Yeah. Alright, so Shanghai this week played 2 games. Shanghai took on New York Excelsior. They lost 3-0. They were able to tie a map with New York. New York, though, winning Oasis, Ekenwald, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. They did tie on Hanamura. Now, the other game that Shanghai played this week. Where are you at, Shanghai? Oh, that was their second game. Haha, their first game of the week was against the Los Angeles Gladiators, where they lost 3-1, winning Busan, then dropping Temple Anubis, Kings Row, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Alright. The next team is the Chengdu Hunters. They're up 4. They're 2-0, but again, they have a lot of way to climb from some of their struggles in the last stage. Chengdu is currently 5-4, so they do have a winning record at this point. They've sort of clawed back from being down 3-4 with their 2 wins this week. Chengdu first played against Paris, where they did 4-0 Paris. Chengdu won Oasis, Hanamura, Blizzard World, and Rialto. Chengdu also took on Washington Justice, where they won 3-1. Winning Oasis, dropping Temple Anubis, winning Kings Row, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. That is what the Hunters did. The next team on our rankings here is the Paris Eternal. They are down 2 spots. Paris Eternal is... That's the wrong one. That's the playoffs overall. Paris Eternal is 1-1 this week. And overall in the playoffs, they are 4-5. Paris this week won 4-0 against Guangzhou Charge, taking Oasis, Paris, Ekenwald, and Junkertown. Paris then took on Chengdu, because we just mentioned it, where they lost 4-0, losing Oasis, Hanamura, Blizzard World, and Rialto. So, that's that. The next team, I believe, Seoul Dynasty. Seoul Dynasty is next. They are down 5. Seoul Dynasty is 0-1, and I believe that they are 4-4. I should know since they're my favorite team. They're 4-4. They're one of the few teams actually looking here that have a either 500 record or below 500 record with a positive map differential. Seoul has +4, and Atlanta's 4-5, and they are also +1. And the only 2 teams that are 500 or below with that. Seoul Dynasty this week played 1 game, and that was against the Los Angeles Gladiators, where they won Oasis, dropped Paris and Kings Row, won Watchpoint Gibraltar, and then dropped Lijiang Tower. That was the first match ever that Fissure lost against the former team he was on. Now, one thing that I do just want to touch on real quick, I'm not going to go super in-depth with it, but the new meta is not good. I know a lot of people are all triggered about GOATs, but GOATs is actually fun to watch. This meta, where we have a Bastion and Orisa, which I will say, from watching that game, is how Los Angeles Gladiators win. That's the way that they won. They just wanted to sit and play Bastion on Orisa. And Baptiste with his immortality field or whatever. The thing is I'm not mad about the meta because Seoul lost. I'm mad about the meta because it's not fun to watch. I watched that game and decided I'm not watching anything else this week. I don't want to watch Orisa Bastion. Like, if I want to watch that, I'll just watch one of my own games that I've played and uploaded on YouTube. It's not fun to play against, and it's not fun to watch. So I don't see how people are, like, happy with this meta, but then, like, mad the GOATs existed, which actually requires strategy and talent. Like, you had to be able to play that character really, really well and have team coordination and ultimates, where this is just sit behind an Orisa shield as a Bastion and shoot at people. It's literally like playing gold, silver. Like, this is the shit that we're watching in Overwatch League, and you think that's good? Absolutely not. Reevaluate your standards. Alright, the next team that we have is Philadelphia Fusion. They are down 3 spots. Philadelphia is 1-1 this stage. Overall, Philadelphia is 6-3. Philadelphia took on New York in the hyped-up match of the week, where they got 4-0 on Lijon Tower, Paris, Ekenwald, and Rialto, showing that Paris is not good. I mean that Philadelphia is not good. But Philadelphia will stay where they are. Philadelphia then took on Florida. They lost Oasis, then won Temple of Anubis, Kings Row, and Junkertown. Alright. The next team here is the Dallas Fuel. They're one of the other teams that did not play along with Houston. And Dallas, again, they're 0-0 in the stage. Dallas is currently 4-3 in the season. The next team, Los Angeles Gladiators, they're up 5. LA won both games they played this week, and they are 5-4. So again, early in the stage, you can really rebound from, if you're down. A lot of teams that are 3-4 came in here at 1-0. They're 5-4. Los Angeles, London, Chengdu, they were all down like that, and now they can sort of make it come back a little bit with that. So the next team here, though, for the Gladiators, they took on Shanghai, where they won 3-1. Dropping Busan, then winning Temple of Anubis, Kings Row, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. The Gladiators also took on Seoul Dynasty, where they lost Oasis, won Paris and Kings Row, lost Watchpoint Gibraltar, and then won on Lijiang Tower. Alright. Who's up next? Boston Uprising. Boston Uprising is up 4. Boston is 2-0. And they are 6-3 overall. Boston took on the Atlanta Reign in a very close game, losing Lijiang Tower and Temple of Anubis, so they're on match point the rest of the way, and they won Ekenwald, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, and Busan. The other matchup for the Boston Uprising was 3-2 against the Toronto Defiant. Busan and Hanamura, they were down. Match point the rest of the way. They came back and won Ekenwald, Rialto, and Oasis. Very close, but not impressive, because Boston shouldn't, if they're a good team like people think they are, they shouldn't be in that situation where they barely win these games. So that's just my thought. Boston very easily could be going down, but they won 2, so I guess I got to put them up higher. The next team on our list here is the Toronto Defiant. They're down 2. They are 1-1 this week. The first one they took on was Washington Justice. Oasis and Hanamura. Enables the Royal Maps that they took and won. And then they lost on Junkertown, when, again, it doesn't matter, but overall, the scheme of things, having those map differential in the end is super beneficial. Then we talked about them playing against the Boston Uprising. They won Busan and Hanamura, then lost Ekenwald, Rialto, and Oasis. Alright, the next team that we have, I believe, is London Spitfire. Not mistaken, I am right. London Spitfire up 9 spots to number 4. London is 2-0, and they are 5-4 overall. London beat Florida 2-1, taking Lijiang Tower, tying on Hanamura, then winning Ekenwald. Actually, no, that was wrong. They won Lijiang Tower, lost Hanamura, tied on Ekenwald, and then won on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Because they won 2-1. Good job. They also played against Atlanta Rain, where they won 4-0. Winning Oasis, Temple Anubis, Blizzard World, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Number 3 is the San Francisco Shock. They are 2-0. San Francisco is overall 3, or they're 6-3, not 3-6. They're 6-3. San Francisco came out 4-0'd the Valiant, winning Busan, Temple Anubis, Blizzard World, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Then San Francisco took on Guangzhou Charge, where they also 4-0'd them, winning Busan, Temple Anubis, Ekenwald, and Junkertown. Alright. Then the last 2 teams, of course, are Vancouver and New York. Again, the change at the top there hasn't been a change at the top, unless one of these 2 teams loses. There's really no way that New York and Vancouver are going to swap spots or go down. That's the way that you'll see us switch at the top. And the reason that I have them the way they are, I think, again, it's regular season, the playoffs don't matter, so forget that New York lost to Seoul. Forget that happened. Okay, they're both haven't lost yet. And I prefer New York's play style and their players slightly over Vancouver. Now, Vancouver's got really, really good players, really great roster. I love both teams a lot. But I do prefer New York slightly in the way that they play and the players that they have on their roster. And I think overall in a match, you would see New York beat Vancouver. And since they're equal in basically everything, wins they're equal in. I believe New York has one more because they played one more game. Map differential-wise, they're about equal. I mean, there's really, really so close. You just got to pick one. Just go with it. And I picked New York, and I'll keep it the way that it is. So Vancouver played 1 game this week. Vancouver's 8-0. Yeah, this is the thing. Between New York and Vancouver, New York's 9-0 because they played one more game. New York is a differential of 23. And Vancouver's a differential of 22. So technically, map differential-wise, Vancouver's doing better. But, again, it doesn't really matter. They're both really, really strong teams. Vancouver's 1 game this week was against Hangzhou Spark. They won Oasis, Hanamura, Kings Row, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now on to New York Excelsior. They're 2-0 this stage, and they're 9-0 overall. New York played Philadelphia, where they won 4-0, winning Lijiang Tower, Paris, Ekenwald, and Rialto. New York also took on Shanghai, where they won 3-0, winning Oasis, tying Hanamura, winning Ekenwald, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. So, that is that. Now we're going to take a look so far at how the stage playoffs are looking for this stage. I know we're early, but the stage playoffs, the top 8 teams make it in. If the stage playoffs began now, you'd have San Francisco. They would be number 1. New York's number 2. Chengdu's 3. London's 4. Los Angeles is 5. Boston's 6. Vancouver's 7. And Toronto is 8. Again, this all comes down to the first 6 teams that I said all played 2 games. San Francisco, New York, Chengdu, London, Los Angeles, and Boston all played 2 games. Vancouver's played 1, and then Toronto has also they're 1-1, but they have a map differential of 1. So I guess I don't know how that works out. But it doesn't really matter because this isn't going to be how it is. Teams that are really in a bad situation to make stage playoffs: Florida, Washington, Atlanta, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. They're all 0-2. And then teams that could obviously easily make it in: Dallas, Houston, Paris, Philadelphia, Seoul, Hangzhou, and Los Angeles Valiant. They're all either 0-0, 1-1, or 0-1. They all can make it in. So now to look at the overall season playoffs, what we have right now, the teams that would be in. All your division leaders: the leader of the Atlanta division, New York Excelsior, 9-0. Vancouver Titans winner. Leader of the Pacific division, they're 8-0. The other teams that would be in: San Francisco Shock at 6-3, Toronto Defiant at 6-3, Boston Uprising at 6-3, Philadelphia in at 6-3. Now I believe that there are 2 teams making in for 7th and 8th spot. I think it's whoever 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th play each other to get the top 2 spots. I'm not sure if that's how it works. I think it is. Unless it's 7 through 10, but I think it's 7 through 12. Either way, if it's 7 through 12, Atlanta, Seoul, Chengdu, Dallas, and... well, actually, we should say from 7 to 12. Los Angeles, London, Dallas, Chengdu, Seoul, and Atlanta would be in that spot right now. But... again, doesn't matter. So the teams that currently are in the playoffs at the end of the season: New York, Vancouver, San Francisco, Toronto, Boston, and Philadelphia. The Pacific Division's only got 2 teams. Atlantic has 4. So yeah, that's that. Again, as always, games to watch in week 2. Thursday games, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. Vancouver Titans and Seoul Dynasty. The stage playoff game between Vancouver and Seoul didn't really go well for Seoul, but it'll be interesting to sort of see what's different if Seoul can get close in competition with them. I don't know if they'd win, but get close. Friday's games here. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, April 12th. Los Angeles Valiant and Atlanta Reign. I think you'll probably see Los Angeles got their first win of the season. Another game to watch, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Again, another rematch of the Season 1 Championship, London Spitfire and Philadelphia Fusion. They face each other. And then... Sunday, as always, good matchup. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, Los Angeles Valiant and Los Angeles Gladiators playing each other. Always a good matchup to see who is the best in LA. I'm not sure which one of those has the lead in that series. I believe it's the Valiant, but I'm not sure. So that's the games to watch next week. I believe every team does play. I may be wrong, but I think every team is playing. Dallas has 2 games. Houston's got 1. I think every team's playing. I may be wrong, but I think every team. Again, part of the reason why this is so weird, this stage, with who's playing who and all that stuff. Week 4 is Ultimate Weekend Dallas, where a bunch of teams, Paris, London, Hangzhou, Chengdu, Houston, Seoul, Los Angeles Valiant, and Dallas all play. Both games on Saturday and Sunday, they have their matches. So that's why some of these teams are playing one now, like with Seoul. They're playing one this week, one next week. Or they played one in week 1, they played one in week 2. That way they'll be able to play 2 that week. So that's why the schedule's kind of weird. Again, Houston and Dallas didn't play, because Dallas and Houston both have to play 2 games this week. So things will be very, very interesting to sort of see that. But that is part of the thing. That is week 4 is Ultimate Weekend Dallas. So we'll probably see similar things in Stage 3 when we have Atlanta Reign homestand. And then week 5 of Stage 4 is Los Angeles Valiant Rivalry Weekend. But that's obviously months away. That's in August. But right now, again, coming up in just a couple weeks, is Ultimate Weekend at Dallas, and that is why a lot of the schedules are very, very weird. And again, Ultimate Weekend Dallas, for people who don't know, is the teams that I listed: Paris, London, Hangzhou, Chengdu, Houston, Seoul, Los Angeles, Valiant, and Dallas. Few will play each other. Those 8 teams, are going to travel to Dallas for games on Saturday, April 27th, and Sunday, April 28th. They will play each other. Both teams, all 8 teams that I listed will play Saturday and Sunday. And they're going to travel there, play those games, to sort of like get a preview of what we'll see in 2020 when all 20 teams will be playing in their home cities. So sort of give a little bit of a preview of what that will look like. So again, for people who don't know, that is why things are a little bit weird. The stage, again, we won't have home stands next season because teams will be playing within their cities. So however the schedule is going to work out next year will be different from this year. But that's one of the things to look forward to in week 4. Of course, you have to get through week 2 and 3 first, but I'm very, very interested to see how that's going to work out. I'm looking forward to it because, again, that's the week the Soul's playing. And power rankings that week, let me just talk about that real quick, are going to be so weird. If 8 teams playing, the rest of them aren't. So that means we have 12 teams that aren't playing. So that'll be very, very weird. I don't know what's going to happen week 5 if every team's playing. I don't know. Week 5, there's a couple teams that there's like 3 games on weekends, and things are really, really interesting to see. But I'm very, very interested to see how week 4 is going to work out. The Ultimate Weekend Dallas. 2 days, 8 games, 8 teams, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's video and podcast, depending on whatever way you have chosen to interact with this. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment down below your thoughts, and also check out Twitter and Instagram for the podcast viewers. Also, make sure you check out Instagram and Twitter. Both are every city 47. And also, if you're on the podcast, check out my YouTube channel. And if you're on the YouTube channel, check out the podcast. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Thank you to everybody who listened and watched, and we will see you in the next one.